Let's get into it.
Let's see what you guys think about it.
Let's see what your ranking is. Where you rank them.
Yeah.
Off of like immediate first impression and attraction to the person.
I'm just gonna put it out there, just so we do it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not.
Where do you currently want?
I want at least 3.
You gotta be kidding
Black
me.
man had to save her.
You gotta be kidding
Black
me.
man said he's not fine.
No way. No way you're gonna put
Nah.
a black girl in last. You see what I'm talking about?
Normal Bros, and we back at it again. First of all, I'm gonna need you to tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a mother effing friend to follow and subscribe to your boys. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast platforms as well. You can catch us on YouTube and TikTok. That's Far From Normal Podcast. Make sure you type that into a search engine and see the boys on those clips. We got everything for you. We got the website, www.farfromnormalpodcast.com. We got all the links up there. Make sure you check it out. Of course, YouTube. We're on Instagram as well. That's far_from_normal_podcast. Check it out. You already know it's your boy Fuzzy Vision. You know I see the world clear, and you know I see the future, and the future is bright. You already know Fuzzy Vision with 2 N's. If you have any likes, dislikes, rebuttals, or you want to be on the podcast, hit your boy up. Sonny, drop the handle, baby.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Sonny Frames. You can catch me on the gram at Sonny, SONNY, Frames, double S at the end. Make sure when you do check out my Instagram page, check out my stories, because I usually post a lot of stuff that has to do with motivation, inspiration, chasing your dream, and execution. So let's not forget, any dream that you're trying to achieve, the only way that you'll ever achieve it is through execution and putting a plan to motion. So make sure that you don't just stay in the dream world, and make sure you make it a reality.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And Fuzzy, let's get him. I have to say it's become a very sad time.
Why'd you say that?
Summer's coming to a close.
Already, yeah?
July 28th, man.
Yeah, like time goes by quick. Yo, this is what we said earlier, right? We were talking about just like managing your time. By the time it hits May, you're going to see how time goes by quickly. Every time it's summer, especially in like a place like Canada, you don't have summer all year round. This ain't LA, this ain't Miami, this ain't those type of spots. So the weather here, just you have a couple months, I'd say really 3 months of good weather from June to August, I would say, like is the best weather. May, you might get something there, but yeah, pretty much we're at the tail end of summer. We're at August pretty much in the next couple of days. And we know a couple events are going on in August that are popular, but usually it means the end of summer.
The end of summer. And the funny thing is, we always talk about this. Once you get to about May, everything starts to speed up. Time just miraculously starts to speed up. But although time is the same, but there's so many things that are going on in that time span that it seems as though time has sped up. And once you do hit the summer season, it goes even faster. So knowing that August,
it's weather, right?
It's the weather,
The weather is getting nicer, but it's not that consistent. So by the time you hit May, that's really when the weather is good. But you're gonna have days where it's still cold, stuff like that. So
on and off.
By the time you know it, you're ready in June and then July, and again, you don't have that much time to really get a big summer experience out of like being in a place like Canada, Toronto specifically. Like you're not used to having good weather for that long, so you got to take advantage.
Definitely do got to take advantage. But another thing that I realized, but this goes for people that leave Toronto, is that summer never really ends. Actually, it's only if you stay in Toronto your whole life that you're subjected to only 2 months of summer. But if you're constantly going other places for vacation, or you work remotely, or if you're just doing stuff in different countries, you'll realize that it could be yearly.
Yeah, you can obviously like set up your life to like set you. Well, if you have the resources, you can set up
yeah.
yourself to be in a place that's more tropical.
Yeah.
But that comes with its bullshit too. Like,
of course.
think about like Florida with
Hurricane, tsunami,
stuff you never experienced and you don't want it.
typhoons,
Yeah,
it's the monsoon season.
Absolutely. You go to
lot of
Asia,
stuff,
it's
yeah.
gonna have a lot of, like you said,
Monsoon season,
monsoon
yeah.
season and stuff like that. So I guess be careful what you wish for, because
Yes.
with tropical places, it does have crazier things going.
Pros and cons on that, and on any scale. For if you have 4 seasons, it has its pros and cons. If you only have a dry and wet season, it also has its pros and cons.
Yes.
So it just depends on which pros and cons would you like to deal with.
But how would you say you like spent the time so far? Like for me personally, I think I've utilized the summer. I think I've went to a couple of fests going on in the city. I've been to some rooftops. I've maybe never did as much as I wanted to. That's like keeping it real, to be fair. Some summers you do a little bit more. But I think I've done everything I've kind of wanted to do for the most part so far. It's been pretty good. I can't really complain. How about yourself? Have you been getting into anything since this time?
I would definitely say that
off
I've
the-
utilized the time wisely.
Yep.
I've done a lot of stuff. We've launched our athletics brand.
Gang.
Yep, far. We out here. Check that out.
here.
Yeah. We managed to do that with production and photo shoot, promo video. Far Athletics is now out. So check out for that merch.
Yeah, on IG. Make sure you check that
yeah.
out. Far.athletics.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that we were able to make that happen, make that a reality of ours, especially because we're in the athletic world and we deal with fitness. We do a lot of fitness events and we meet a lot of fitness people. We're in run clubs, so it's a very big part of our lives. So just, having our own brand and setting that aside is amazing feeling. And then also with just the running training with a marathon coming up, doing that, making sure I'm staying on point for that, and also attending all the summer events that I can, even though I'm training at the same time.
Yeah.
I think I definitely utilize the summer to the best of my ability. I have no complaints, and coming into August, I'm going to try and continue to utilize the time that I have and put it to good use.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, thinking of the seasons, I lived in Canada my whole life. So for me, the seasons don't really affect too much, to be fair. You have, you know that, there's a little more opportunity to get things done in the summer because the day is stretched out. This is why I love summer. It's because the day's stretched out. The sun rises early and guess what? It sets late.
Yes.
So that means you have more time in your day to get things done where the sun is still out. You feel energetic. You could do like a run, for example. We're training for a marathon, so you could do a run at late night. You can do it, start your run at 8:30, potentially 9 till 10, and you'll still have like time to before the sun even completely sets, so it'll still be bright outside. So I think for that purpose, a lot of the time we find ourselves liking summer more than we like winter. Winter's dark and gloomy and cold, so like I understand why people don't like that, but with the circumstances we're given, of course, we still gotta grind. We still gotta make things happen. We still gotta be outside. We gotta do what we have to do. I just think that in the summer, you have a lot more time to get certain stuff done, especially creatively, physically, going outside for runs, doing even just basic stuff outside in general, like barbecues, getting together with people, doing walks, hikes, stuff that doesn't even entail you spending that much money, right? Like you could do free stuff, walk with somebody, go to the lake or whatever the case may be and enjoy yourself. So I do think it is also a cheaper time for most people in the sense that you can enjoy yourself by just going to a free festival, by just walking by the lake, by whatever it is, people watching, going to patios to eat or drink. All those things give it like the benefit for me. So I wanted to get into the Olympics though, man. We got 2024 Paris Olympics, but And these days they're called the Weirdo Olympics because,
There's a lot going on. There's a lot
going on. We got a lot to unpack here for the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, tell us about that story about you going into.
Well, let's talk about first of all the Olympics, 2024 Paris Olympics. This has just commenced. I think it commenced this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend. Yeah, so the flag bearers came out.
Yep.
I didn't have a chance to actually take a look at it. I have to go and take a look at that online.
Yeah, so I seen the actual opening ceremony where like all the countries came with boats, and it's kind of funny because I was thinking, I'm like, what happens if you don't have a nation with like a big that many athletes?
Yeah.
Like if you're a small nation or you have 3 athletes or 1 athlete, some cases some countries just have 1 athlete.
Yeah.
And they were all introduced on a boat. So obviously USA has a super yacht, big, huge
Oh
boat.
my God.
France as well. You're talking about like they're representing over 600 athletes.
Wow.
Compared to like, I can just tell you random country. Uzbekistan. Well, they actually have a lot. They have like at least 40.
Oh,
They're up there.
Okay.
It's them. They're wrestlers.
Wow.
There's that shit going on there.
Okay.
Yeah. See a country like some Southeast country that's very small, like a Laos or something like that. Singapore, yeah, might not have that many athletes, but it was funny because they had some of these teams in the biggest of boats, and then you got smaller countries like Haiti. I think they put them in a very small boat.
Stop this.
And I'm like, aesthetically, it just looked crazy. So I was thinking, is this like classism? Is this to show?
Oh my!
But then they would have some big boats that had a mixture of both of many teams. So it'd be like 3 teams on one big boat. So I'm like, why would they give someone a little paddle boat? Man? Like,
that's like that looks like a more power dynamic classism type of disparity.
Jesus Christ, you put Haiti in a Paris, France.
That's crazy.
Boat.
That's crazy.
A little bit ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I guess you're representing your country. That's what's important. You put your flag out there. Of course, everyone knows that you're not, economically, you're not competing with certain countries, which countries are the big dogs and which one aren't. So I guess no one's really, confused about that. But I found that interesting, to say the least.
Wow. Yeah, I got to take a look at this because I didn't get a chance. So, life is just...
Well, they didn't bring Sierra Leone was on a decent...
Oh, thank God.
There weren't many athletes. I think about 5 to 6 athletes. But, we got our way up there. I think we're on a shared boat. So that definitely helps some of the smaller nations in terms of optics.
Yeah.
But, just speaking on the Olympics. So they had this... let me get into a story that happened. So I'm at I was watching the open ceremony and I'm at this bar. I'm watching it. And pretty much it's showing this crazy kind of opening ceremony dance. Usually they have a ceremony at the opening parade or opening ceremony, whatever. They have a performance, let's say that, right? Some sort of entertainment. Anyways, so they put this entertainment on, and I'm not paying attention. I don't really care for the entertainment, but I'm here watching it. I see them have a bunch of people that looked very different than your average folk. So I'm like, what's this all about? So you're seeing overweight people. You're seeing kind of people looking a little bit weird.
See, this is what I'm
looking
saying.
like they don't belong.
I gotta look at this. I didn't think
it looked like a wacky group. It looked like a wacky group, something you could have pulled off a cartoon character.
Wow.
Or a cartoon show. Like, to be fair, that's what I seen.
Yeah.
Now, however everyone else seen it, that's their opinion, and fair play to you. You get to say what you want to say. But for me, when I watched it, I seen an assembly of some of the weirdest characters I've seen in quite a while.
Almost like a circus. The circus is going.
And this ain't Circus du Soleil. This ain't Circus. I don't know what kind of games we were playing here. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'll be honest. But okay, I'm watching the show. Then now I'm looking up and I see a guy come out and he has a big beard and he's dressed as a woman, and this is supposed to be drag. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Now, why it's there, I have no clue. I have no clue why this is being promoted on this international stage.
Yeah.
As a form of entertainment, as if everyone is going to be on board with it. I mean, if you like that type of stuff, that's fine. If you don't like that type of stuff, that's fine too. It's not going to entertain everybody, but I did find it interesting when I'm watching it. So I look at it, and buddy next to me, he screams out, "What the fuck is this?" I was fucking crying, dude. I was on the floor crying. This dude right beside me in a public bar just screamed the shit out. I'm like, there's no way. But I could understand where he was coming from. It's just, it was so much going on with the performances. It was very strange. It was very weird to me. It was kind of, it didn't have any like synchronicity that I like, you know? It was too distracting of who was there rather than what the performance was. So what's your thoughts on like that going on? Because on top of this, not to just say I found the issue with it, because other people I've talked to have seen this and obviously commented on it. And apparently today, the Olympics have actually took down the video of whatever performance they had for the opening ceremony. They took it down and they had to issue an apology because apparently they were mocking the religious sectors, which Christianity falls under. Apparently how they began the show.
Maybe it was the fact that the drag, like with the beard and the long hair. Yeah. You think that had anything to play?
Well, I think. Well, they said that they did a depiction of what was similar to the Last Supper that's in the Bible. So they did a depiction of that, but obviously it had all these characters at the table. And in the real picture, it's supposed to be of Jesus and his disciples. So they did feel that it was a mockery of the religion, because why would you do something so blasphemous? Why would you try to mimic something that's clearly against what it is you guys are doing? Yeah. So I found that interesting. But what's your thoughts about that whole thing? Because you never seen it.
I didn't even see it. I seen
but just hearing it, you get the gist.
Just a little clip that you told me about, and I seen a photo of like the type of characters that were out there that day.
The type of character.
Yeah, I mean, like, even I have to laugh about it because I seen the photo and it's just like, I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you're used to this in Canada.
Yeah. This is a common occurrence in Canada. But my thing is, when we're talking about the international stage, what are we promoting? Are we promoting athletes? I thought we were here to watch the games. Yeah. I didn't know we were here to see the circus. So that's where I have to, differentiate. Like, we're losing. I think this is why the Olympics is kind of falling off, because it's losing its integrity and it's also losing its identity, because the Olympics was always about people coming together from all nations and seeing who had the best athletes.
Yeah, that's it.
That was the mission. But now the mission is skewed. Now it's free for all. Anybody can do whatever they want. It's a political agenda, pushing their different narratives. So now it's just becoming a clown show. So I don't know where they're gonna go from here. You said that they took down.
Yeah, they took it down.
Yeah, they took it down. So obviously, there's a lot of backlash to it, and there's a lot of people that are not okay with what's going on. Right? They're not okay with it. So now, moving forward, I want to see how it happens, because it's not only that they're getting backlash for. They're getting backlash for the city itself. So, like,
there's a lot of
French people are looting, are not even looting, but they're breaking into cars.
Yeah.
The streets of Paris are dirty. People aren't feeling safe in the city. Like, there's a lot going on in France.
There's a lot. Paris. They have like a lot of the Palestinian Israel things going on with the ban of the hijab.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot of things going on in terms of the Olympics, and I think that
very political.
Yeah, a lot of the times these events become very political.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they're gonna police that, like in the actual ceremony, because the Olympics is always a place for political activism.
Yeah, and that's why some people don't even manage to make it to the big stage, because they're like, you're gonna be a problem.
Yes,
you're gonna make a political statement, and we don't want you to do that. So we're just gonna not bring you with us.
Yeah, I think you guys have to be careful when it's international. But again, when it comes to the opening ceremony, it being international, I just don't understand why they believe that would be, proper to do that in front of the world. Like, of course, every government has their own policies and their own ideologies. But in my opinion, it's like, certain places would view that as disrespect, as they did, because again, there's the Christian folk and there's other religious sectors that had issues as well with this. But point of the matter is, when they had outrage, these guys had to apologize and take down the video. So obviously there's some merit to what was being said.
But see, the damage has already been done. That's what people don't understand. When it comes to marketing, you want to act first and apologize later.
Yeah.
So the message is already out. That's all they wanted. Like, regardless if it's like, oh, we got to take it down, you already seen it. So our job is still done. It's just like when advertisers have like salacious videos on specific commercials and they put it out there, but it's like, no, we got to take this commercial out. It was salacious and it was banned. People are still going to go and look for that video and say, why did they take this down? Like what exactly happened, right? People are going to be curious to know why they took a specific video down, which gives it more notoriety, and it becomes more talked about, more discussed, and now the job has been done. The advertisement.
That is true. That is true. Because to be fair, that was the reason why I'm talking about the Olympics, because of this crazy weirdo. You know, something
they've done their job.
I didn't understand what the hell was going on, but they've done their job because I'm explaining this to you. You never watched it, but you might look into some of the headlines and figure out, oh, this is kind of crazy that was going on.
And now I'm going to go look at it to find out, wait, what exactly happened? Why did they take it down? Now I'm going to do my research, and you see what I mean?
Like I said, it's just a weird lot of characters, man.
Yeah.
And it was just like something I never seen again out of a cartoon show, to be honest. Like, these people didn't look like they were regular citizens. They look like they're up to something else. But again, someone put them up to this, so no diss towards those people, but someone put you up to this. So obviously the organizers had their own agenda of what they wanted to do. But speaking of that, obviously we're into sports. So like just Olympics in general. Was there anything you're excited to watch, generally speaking, in the Olympics? Do you tend to watch anything, any favorite events?
I think at this stage in life, I have so much stuff that's going on in my life currently that I'm focused on, that I'm not too worried about the Olympics per se. I mean, that's something that happens every 4 years. I get it. But these individuals that are athletes, they're making their own money. They're practicing their own sport. They're practicing their craft. They're trying to be the best at their craft. I'm trying to be the best at my craft. And if I'm busy watching them be good at their craft, I'm not focusing on my own craft. So I don't tend to pay too much attention on what's going on in the Olympics. But what I will say is, if I run into a TikTok feed or a TikTok video that shows something about the Olympics, for sure, I'll take a look at it. It's only 30 seconds. But I'm not going to sit there and watch somebody perform at their own craft when I'm busy trying to hone my own craft.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think for me, the Olympics, maybe when I was a little bit younger, I was more into it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still young, but I think when I was close to being more of an athlete or a potential athlete in the future, you have those aspirations. You think, oh, I could potentially go to the Olympics for some type of skill set. And I was a track and field runner, right? So when I see the 100 meters or those type of big races, I know the feeling. I understand the pressure to a certain degree, obviously never high level, but I understand the pressure of hearing the horn go off and stuff like that. So I do like to tune into the fastest man. I definitely want to watch and see who's going to be, you know, the top dog in the race, fastest man alive. Usually one of the better events for me that I like. But just generally speaking, I also pay attention to basketball. You know, Canada's in it this year. So shout out to Canada. And we've got a good squad. So I do pay attention to basketball. And speaking of basketball, of course, Team USA with the veterans like LeBron, Steph Curry, KD.
Last rodeo.
You name it. It's the last rodeo. And they've been having a couple exhibition matches, and they've been highly favored, of course. As you know, they have all these legends on their team, but
they're all very
in recent history, they nearly lost to South Sudan. They nearly lost to this nation in Africa called South Sudan that maybe a lot of people don't know about, but we clearly know of this type of place. But apparently this is not a place that a lot of people know of.
Well, to be fair, they've only been independent for 13 years.
Only 13 years.
Yes.
See, like
so
something like that's new to me.
Yeah, they just separated from Northern Sudan. So it used to just be Sudan. But then they had a civil war and they divided each other, and then now they're 13 years of independence.
Okay, so point of the matter is I wanted to get into there was an NBA player that was actually getting at these players, ripping into the South Sudan team.
Yes.
And it was interesting to me just because these are African players. Of course, he's talking about, we're talking about Gilbert Arenas, which is a former NBA player. He's obviously African American. And like I said,
Did you tell him the team he played for?
well, he played for the Washington Wizards, and this guy was infamous for bringing a gun to a game, and then obviously ultimately losing on money, contract, getting kicked off his team, suspensions and whatever. Obviously his career is never the same after that, but he's a media guy.
Yeah.
So he has his opinion on things. And as you know, in media, we talk shit. We say certain things that, we don't necessarily mean, but we say it in maybe the spirit of content. But, when do you think it goes too far? So I do want to get into that video and see what the video says, because they're like,
that's true. Let's let the video speak for itself, and then we'll comment on that video and see what our thoughts on the matter was.
So let's see. Gilbert Arenas is talking about, again, South Sudan players, and
this is after the U.S. beat South Sudan
by 1 point.
By 1 point, mind you.
Really controversial and frankly inappropriate comments on USA's most recent game versus South Sudan.
We got the males almost lost to some Africans. Yeah, God damn, dog. We almost lost to them. We almost lost. Come on. And the king had to save them. The king had to save them. I know the LeBron haters are mad. Almost lost to the Ahi tribe. This is crazy. What is going on, man? Embiid over there throwing the game. He's throwing the game for his cousins and shit. What's this is? I don't even know where to find the box score. We winning on layups at the end of the game. Like, what is I don't know where the box score is. I already have my excuses. My excuses. This just preseason. We still trying to figure out lineup, but God, come on, y'all. We don't supposed to be losing to air up there. Come on, man. Cool Runnings. We don't supposed to lose to the Cool Runnings team. That's the last team we supposed to lose to or be close with. They don't even have shoes. They get their shoes from America. We got to ship them shoes. They had to use the shoes that we have extra, leftover shoe. They use leftover shoes that the USA team didn't want. Nah, y'all can use these. They don't even have basketball rims, dog. Feed the children. Send wheat, send water and bread. Them, that's who we almost lost to. Y'all are, oh, man, this is good. Almost lost there. Cool running on this bitch. South Sudan, not regular Sudan. You know it ain't. Do they even have any? Let me see. Who do they even have a? That is Bobo's. That's Bobo's team, right? That has to, because the daddy was South Sudan. Let me see this Ross. Listen, damn. Hey, listen. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like, they shouldn't have black jerseys.
So
yeah, like pretty much you heard it there. Like, of course, the video, we didn't get every single aspect of the video, but point of the matter was that it's important to look at a video like this, because at the end of the day, what's your thoughts on, African Americans coming at Africans, especially when it comes to how Africans are portrayed, especially when it comes to like poverty, the way they behave, whether it's the way they dress or look. A lot of the times, you probably heard this being in Canada as an African, and the disrespect that you hear from certain cultures that belong to your same ethnicity group. What's your thoughts on that?
So what I would say about that is it has to deal with ignorance, and it also has to deal with a lot of brainwashing of their society.
Yeah.
Right? Where they want to disconnect them. They want to disconnect the black people that have been born overseas in different countries. They want to disconnect them from the continent of Africa. They don't want them to be associated with one another. So they create this rift and this division where one group thinks they're better than the other because they live a certain way and the other group doesn't. And then also with propaganda telling you that these people are living in trees and they're riding lions and they're on giraffes and, you know, painting the picture of these barbarians, you know, these guys, they're not civil, they're, you know, still very primitive. That narrative has really brainwashed people that live overseas. Most of them have never even stepped on the continent of Africa, so they don't even know what they'll see when they go there, because the way they represented it over here is not the accurate picture of when you're on the continent. I feel like with that disconnect, that's why they behave a certain way towards Africans. And it was something that Africans faced even when we were young, where, you know, being African wasn't cool. That wasn't a cool thing. You had to be something else. You had to always hide your identity.
Definitely, that's true. I think that you had the stigma. Of course, they had. Okay, it's obvious. We're gonna say they had World Vision.
Yes.
And when kids seen World Vision,
oh yeah,
and they seen
that
you,
was
and
that was killing us.
Oh, that killed.
That was killing us.
That
was putting the nail to the.
That one killed us. World Vision. If you're hearing this, you killed us. You
killed us with that one.
Killed the continent of Africa with that one. But anyways, the portrayal, obviously, like I said, of Africans, they're always portrayed in a bad way. For
imagine if they did that about America. With all the poverty they have in America,
well, yes, it would look.
They could literally do something.
They could do something similar for sure.
To America, and you would see America's dark side.
Yes, you can for sure
see.
Of course, there's so much more people thriving, so then it's like irrelevant because you're in a first world country. So more people are thriving in a first world country than are impoverished, right? Compared to a third world country where most of the people are impoverished, then the top brass is. Thriving, right? So, but again, I do believe that, you know, this is the stigma, unfortunately. And when we're talking about the Olympics and grand stage, world stage, it's even worse when, you know, a team like American team is going to criticize a smaller nation that's not even comparable in terms of size and resources.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's making jokes and he's on his show and doing what he needs to do. But I think there's an important lesson here, because the fact of the matter is, a lot of us that are African heritage, we don't know our heritage that well. And we never been back to the homeland. Fortunately for us, we've been there. Yeah. So we get to see and say that this is where our people was from and this is where, you know, I can potentially go back to.
Yeah.
Whereas people like Gilbert Arenas, that's African American and maybe doesn't have the roots to go back, doesn't have people in his family that know his roots, he has no place there. So him not having a place there, I think, gives you that sort of self-hate or that disconnect to say, well, those guys live in tribes and those guys do that, and we do this here because they've cultivated the American culture, which just means you go to, you know, you go work and make a living. At the end of the day, it's nothing special about being an American. For Christ's sakes, you guys are one of the most racist nation, and especially with being black. Yeah. So it's funny how they flip the script on other Africans and, you know, start hating on them or start dissing them when they're in similar scenarios in a first world country.
Yes.
So that's just crazy in terms of poverty and all that type of stuff.
But the thing is, that comes back down to the mentality of the house Negro and the field Negro.
Yeah.
Where the house Negro thinks he's so much better than the field Negro, but it's like at the same token, you're looked at as the same.
Yeah. If a guy comes out from a boat in Africa, a guy was born here and
it makes no difference.
In the United States.
They see black.
Yeah, when someone from a different race is looking, they're like, you guys are in cahoots. You guys are together.
You're one and the same.
One and the same. If I don't hire him, I don't hire you.
That's just an internal affair where you guys are fighting amongst each other. But at the end of the day, everyone's looking at you guys they wouldn't be able to tell an American from an African. Like, you're just African. As far as I'm concerned, you being African American and him being African, they're gonna see just African. That's it.
Absolutely. But do you think then that makes it troublesome for, say, Africans to work with African Americans, or
Yes,
people that are
because
Americanized?
different cultural beliefs, different cultural belief systems, ideologies are different. The way in which they are raised is different. We have more history than African Americans. They have more broken families than Africans do.
So culturally completely different.
Culturally completely different. That's what the issue would be.
That's interesting.
They have a lot of single mothers, no baby fathers in the households. There's a lot of broken families in
America compared to in Africa, because they have more traditional conservative backgrounds.
Views,
Yeah, no, it's just interesting when we hear those. And like I said, I've sent this to some people, and some people found it not too offensive. Some people found it offensive, of course. But I just believe, like, for Africans, we've always been under the microscope of criticism, unfortunately. And people don't realize that, you know, Africa is one of the most richest in the world. You know, it's just due to the powers that be that, you know, have suppressed a lot of the countries and put them under certain rules.
Yeah, we're not going to go. But we're not going to go through the history lesson on that.
Of course, but just definitely something to pay attention to. Like I said, I found it interesting. The story that came up, and I'm like, damn, we're still going through this with our own fellow African Americans. They still don't get it. So I do find it pretty funny that an African American is dissing the African.
Very ironic.
To this day, especially considering history. You get what I mean?
Even the age of him, too, is 40 plus.
40 plus guy. He should be educated enough to, you know.
Again, education is not for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. But anyways, I'm excited to see how, like, everything plays out in terms of the basketball for the Olympics, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, on another note, I wanted to talk about, you know, the genders and
well, yeah, I guess you can talk about that. The genders in sports, or what are we talking about?
Genders in sports, just when it comes to the way men and women choose their partners.
Okay.
Right?
So you're talking about like attractiveness.
Attractiveness,
and like how, Yeah, we can get into that. Just attraction, like how. What do you mean? The difference between men and women, and how we look at
how we look at things, how we interpret things in our mind, or how we perceive individuals. I think one thing I wanted to say about that is that I've always realized that the big disconnect between women and men is that women tend to look at people based off personality. So they say.
And energy, yes.
And energy. That is what they say. But action says something different. But out of their words, that's what they say. And then when it comes to men have always stayed true to what they are. Visual creatures. We're looking at physicality. We're looking at physical appearance. Fitness. So it's always been that, and it has always remained that. So it's like 1 + 1 = 2. It's not 3, it's not 4, it's not 5, it's 2, and I will stick with it. It's 2. Women try to change the narrative for men and say, no, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. But it's like, no, I said it's 2. I'm going to keep it at 2. And I think that back and forth is something that women tend to struggle with, because men know what it is already. So if you are not to a woman's standard, they won't take it personally. They'll chalk it up to the game and they'll move on. But when women see, when it's the opposite way, women stand there confused. What's going on? How did we get to this point? And that's where I'm like, are you serious?
Well, it's kind of weird, because I think when you're talking about attractiveness and you're talking about how men would say rank women, or how women would rank other women, I think when you're looking at in the sense of ranking and rating someone's attractiveness, I think, you know, men are going to be very simple-minded when it comes to rating attractiveness. You're going to rank physique, right? So it's going to probably come down to face, body shape, fitness. That's going to be like your 3 things you're looking at, right? How the face is, face hair, tattoos or not, like simple stuff. But these are gonna be just preferences that men have, nothing too serious. Like it's either you're fit, in shape, look good, nice smile, and you're attractive, or you don't fall into those categories.
Yeah.
You're not in shape, you don't have a great smile, you have acne, your hair isn't that nice, et cetera, et cetera. So for men it's straightforward, for women it isn't, because I do believe, women say that they don't dress for men, and I do believe it's to a certain extent, because at the end of the day, men don't notice the small details on the woman.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't know if your woman changed her nails from today and last week,
Or
or
if she
what color rate she did,
Yeah.
or what waxing she did, if she didn't do it, or whatever microblading
Yeah.
and Botox. You won't even know how
Yeah.
the girls you're talking to, especially if you're just dating.
Yeah.
You won't know how much things they've actually done to make their themselves more appealing to
Yes.
men and women.
Yes.
So I think when women have to be forced to judge each other, they find it hard to be honest, because sometimes they look at, well, how is this person taking care of themselves? Instead of just the basic beauty, they look at it as how they're taking care of themselves. So obviously if a woman has eyelashes, has maybe a little bit of Botox, has her hair done a certain way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's where they're going to give a girl a good ranking.
Okay.
But if she doesn't look like she's done up and haven't spent time on the nails, haven't spent time on the eyebrows, unless you're very natural beauty and they can see that, a lot of the times you're not going to get ranked well. So I do believe women tend to overinflate a lot of other girls because of those little aspects, just of the in between, taking care of yourself, the little intricate spots where they're not truly judging the look of the woman, but the maintenance of the woman, as you can see.
Okay, so with a woman that is overweight, what maintenance are we talking about?
Well, I think when it comes to a woman that's overweight, too many times women believe that they have to empathize with those type of women.
But you just said they don't go by like physical appearance, they go by the maintenance of a woman.
Well, I think that's what happens when you're talking about a woman that is a decent looking woman, right? If they don't have any traits that make them, of course, like if you're overweight, well, now you're overweight, right? So technically you can have a pretty face and they think that the weight's something that could be lost eventually, right? So they may factor that in. They're not going to factor you as your current weight today. A lot of the times I think when women are ranking other women, they're thinking potential of the woman, not today and how she looks today. And again, a lot of women have insecurities, even the ones that look good. So a lot of the times they don't want to stand up as the best looking woman, or they don't want to, necessarily like women they like to fake it, I'd say.
Yeah.
They know they look hot, but they sometimes don't want to pretend, they don't want to portray that they look hot amongst other women, because they feel that maybe those insecurities that they have will be shown more so if they're like the top girl, if they're the best looking girl, or can get picked at more. I think each individual's standard of themselves and what other women have for them are far different.
Actually, I think what it is because women tend to be very cliquey.
Yeah.
I believe that women that do look better than their counterparts don't want to stand out just because they know that they'll be picked on, or they'll isolate them or ostracize them from the group.
Sometimes that is the case.
Right? So in order for them not to be ostracized and not to be isolated and ignored, they'd rather put themselves lower, a couple notches down, and show humility so then they could fit in with the group.
You've never noticed that with chicks? Like, you never noticed like certain girls that look far better than others in the group will wear like clothing that kind of takes away from their shape and their flair, because even them in a bad outfit still looks better than maybe their friends they're walking with. But also it's not it's not shown so much that it would overwhelm the friend, or at least, because you've seen friendships where you'll see one girl and they'll have the same kind of outfit on, but one girl be 120 and then the other girl be 220.
Yeah.
And it looks crazy if they're wearing the same kind of outfit, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, by comparison, people are going to look at the 120 girl and be like, she's you know, she's great. And then the friend is unfortunately not going to get those type of looks. So sometimes it is by comparison.
Yeah.
And I do believe like sometimes the more prettier you are in group situations, some people try and tone it down a little bit just so they can be on equal footing with the group. At the end of the day, I've heard of the cattiness amongst women, especially when it comes to, you know, attracting men and getting attention. And because when women get attention, they get perks too. It's not just attention. There's perks. There's getting invited here. There's going to this booth.
100%.
There's certain things that come with, especially if you're talking about places like Miami, LA, and places where beauty actually gets you far. Yeah. There's certain perks that come with
bottle girl, being a bottle girl, doing bottle service, being a host, or even when those girls that work at kiosks, right?
Just girls. Beauty sells.
Beauty does sell, and it's always sold, right? And
absolutely.
It puts you in positions and in doors that only a few could ever reach. So we definitely have to account that.
Yeah, I just want to, we have another video talking about attractiveness. Yeah. And I think the main thing I want to get into about the whole attractiveness video we're going to watch is just, we have to understand how men think when it comes to women and how women think when it comes to attractiveness. So how men think when it comes to attractiveness to a woman and how women think of when it comes to attractiveness. You guys will be able to see and tell what the difference is or what the problem is here. And again, this is not meant to diss nobody or to be ripping on anyone, but I do want to give the audience a chance to see what we're talking about and they judge.
You are right about that. But another thing I wanted to say was the fact that we have to understand that with men and women, the whole purpose when it's all said and done is to come together.
Absolutely.
Man and woman, right? So the person that's doing the choosing is always going to be from the opposite spectrum.
Absolutely.
Right? So they would make a choice that, I wouldn't say they're always making the right choice though. Right? They're not always making the right choice, but they're making the choice that's most suitable for them at that moment. Right? For men and women. Right? So...
But would you ever let a woman set you up with another woman?
No.
Chances are she's not going to set you up with something you like.
Yes.
Are you in agreement?
I am in agreement. But then at the same time, a woman could say, oh, would I let a man set me up with another man? They'll be like, no, we won't be in agreement because they may think certain aspects.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's what I say. They'll think certain aspects. It goes both ways, right? And then they'll make the choice, but they'll make a bad choice. But then it goes for the guy too. He can make the choice, and then he'll make a bad choice where now he's a simp to some beautiful woman, right? And he puts himself in like really bad scenario, right? And he has how many kids and he's working like a dog. So that's what I mean. It's like, although it's like we are both opposite sex and we're supposed to make a decision based off that, sometimes we're both choosing wrong. You know what I mean? So, but it just kind of depends. But we'll see. We're gonna watch this video and then
let's get into it.
Let's see what you guys think about it.
Let's see what your ranking is. Where you rank them.
Yeah. Well.
Off of like immediate first impression and attraction to the person.
I'm just gonna put it out there. Just so we do it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I'll be 2 because I got all 4 2s.
Okay. I think I got 3, 4 the most, so I'll stick into that window depending on the other person's.
There were attributes that I saw in the other girls that I didn't see in myself, and hence I would have put them higher as well over me. So people...
Let's pause it right there. So she already knew, so she got 3, 4.
Yeah.
So she said she's gonna sit around that
3,
window,
4.
right?
That's her average.
Okay, that's her average. So, and then she also said there's attributes from the other women that she's seen that she was like, well, I think I do belong in that area.
So she accepted what she
accepted that, but she didn't accept last though.
Yeah, she said 3 or 4. Yeah,
3 or 4. She didn't say 50 yet, but she already knew. She already had an idea that there is no way you're gonna be first or second.
Okay,
she knew that. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to put that.
Okay, she's realistic. She's realistic. 1000%.
Yeah.
Let's see how this plays out.
She's so sweet. She's so funny. But like, I wouldn't date her.
I guess I'll be 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool beans.
I already love
I'm
so much dearly, and I would date.
Is this correct? Make me a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say it. Yeah.
Nobody really wanted to be last, and I could kind of feel that vibe. So I was just like, you know what, it's fine. Like, nobody is a 5, really.
Nobody's a 5. Okay, let's pause it here.
Let's pause it there. Nobody's a 5, according to her.
Again, it's a very simple show. You're just basing it off attraction. Obviously, the women aren't able to even give a good accurate rating on these chicks because again, they're putting in personality to this. They're making it personal. They're not understanding the game. It's just about attraction. Not everyone's gonna be everyone's cup of tea, of course, but off attraction, they should have came to a quick decision, especially for the most part. Maybe the top 2 better looking women should have had the toughest challenge, but realistically, the woman that went to the end is not
definitely not.
She's not
definitely
the
a 5
amongst the line, and that's again, it's subjective, but we do know that according to society's norms, she's just not gonna land there in this type of lineup.
But, I mean...
Where do you think you would fit yourself in this on that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like personality is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2,
3. Thanks. Well, I say 3, and I'm the same word. Not that you don't have personality, but I'm like,
I'm 5.
They're doing too much. Now they're doing musical chairs. Everyone's moving around. Let's just get the guys to come out and let's see what they think in terms of the rankings. Because guys, it doesn't take much to know where people are on the hierarchy.
On the pecking order.
On the pecking order, because in man's world, we have a hierarchy. And it's just like if you were in elementary school and you're being chose to play basketball or soccer or whatever sport. They line up everybody. There's 2 captains. I always remember that. There's always 2 captains. And you're gonna choose the best players first. First of all, you're gonna do rock, paper, scissors, who gets first pick. And you want to get that first pick because you want to win. So whoever gets that first pick gets the best player automatically. Yeah. And then it just goes down. It just trickles down. Second, third, fourth, all the way to last. And it's like, you know why you're last. He knows why he's last. But then you pick them up, determine on who needs that last guy. And that's
why do you think they confuse personality for attractiveness? Like, again, we're talking about attractiveness, right? So, like, why do we confuse personality with attractiveness? Why is this why is this such a hard concept to understand? If you're saying attractiveness, you're going off either your thoughts on attractiveness, or if you don't have those type of thoughts, if you're a person that goes, oh, I care about personality, then why are you on a show like this that's talking about attractiveness? That's where I'm a little bit confused.
Yes. No, you're definitely correct on that, because if they're doing something as superficial as just looking at the looks itself, you should have never been on the show, because it's like it doesn't correspond to what you feel should be represented in the show. But I personally believe why they tend to go with personality is because when they lack a certain trait, it's easier to fall back on personality.
Yeah.
If you're good looking, last thing you're thinking about is like personality. You know what I mean? Like usually,
you're 6'5", blue eyes, like trust fund.
That whole
mantra, 6'5", blue eyes.
You think they care about his personality and what he's got going on?
Give a damn about personality. They're looking at the physical.
They wouldn't give a damn, and that's exactly what I mean. When you hit the spectrum of what is considered as handsome or what is considered as pretty, the last thing on your mind, or the last thing on anybody's mind, is your personality. That's chucked right out the window.
Yeah, because that's not what you're judging on. Because again, if you're judging a line of models and you're gonna pick out who's the most attractive model to you, you're not judging off whose personality. No, they're not there to give you a personality. You're picking who's the most attractive model, who's the least attractive model when you're picking it. So I did find that pretty funny. But we can get back to to the clip and basically see what
get
the
to
rest
the
of us,
minute mark. We can
hit the
where the
men are a little bit more thorough with their picking.
Let's go right. Just get right into it. They're like 3:59. Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, 5.
Here come the boys. Here come the boys.
Do you want to start off? Cute over there. And then, like, just shift down. I think Michelle was the most attractive. How she looked, how she carried herself, and it just seems like someone that's going to live an exciting life, I guess you could say, or that you could have like a deep conversation with. Could you switch with her?
I'm just gonna talk about having deep conversations.
Yeah, they can't even hear me. Okay. What would you switch? I switch her and her.
Stay best friends with man's best friend.
God's kill us with the commercials. They gotta kill us with the commercials, man.
That's how it goes.
So why can't you let us live, man?
Nah,
they always gotta force feed you on everything.
Yes, sir. Let's get back into this. Go.
All right, we'll get back into it.
Personally, for me, she kind of looks like Kristen Bell. And I really like Kristen Bell. So I'd probably put her in on the 1 or 2 position. And I kind of like her vibe. I think her whole aesthetic is very nice. So for me, it's either 1 or 2 up here. I think that Maria was the most attractive for me. It was just like her whole vibe. And like I liked how her hair was, how her makeup was done. Like she looked very nice. Are we content with 5 being 5?
I'm not.
Where do you currently want 5?
I want her at least 3.
You gotta be kidding.
Black man had to save her.
You gotta be kidding.
Black man said he's not fine.
No way. No way you're gonna put the black girl in last. You see what I'm talking about?
Again.
This is what I'm talking about. The only reason why she didn't go into last place was because of the weight differential. I'm telling you, it's so skewed in North America, just in the Western world, in terms of how they look at beauty,
attractiveness.
Attractiveness.
They're about to,
They were gonna throw her on the.
They're gonna leave her at 5. She's clearly not a 5. That's in this ranking of this room. She definitely doesn't land in the 5.
We're gonna get ripped a new one.
I don't want to be the pointer here. Guys are not afraid to be more blunt. They were straight up, hey, you're attractive, you're not. But girls were like, I don't want to be rude. You know, we're all beautiful in our own way. All right, we're good.
I'm good.
We're locking in.
God.
Well,
let's see. Hold on. Let's see what they rank for. Okay.
Yeah, the rankings, bro.
All right. Okay, we can pause it here.
Pause it there.
As you can see, you got the Asian woman that was
in last.
In last, that kind of self-proclaimed put herself last. Obviously, she wanted to avoid the conflict. She knew she looked better than some of the girls.
Of course. 100%.
But it is what it is. She wanted to be Miss Humble. Fine. You're Miss Humble.
To be fair, Asians are typically humble.
That is a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing. So they're, even when they're in shape, they'll say they're fat. So it's very cultural in that sense, where you have to have humility in the culture.
See, talking about this ranking system, obviously the guys came in, right? And they ranked it how they wanted to rank it. Obviously, there's going to be bias towards the race of the men as well. And there's going to be bias towards the races of the women, right?
Yeah.
So in the case of this one, obviously they're picking out to see who's the best. They put the Asian girl at the front. But I've heard statistics saying that like Asian women actually, when it comes to say dating apps and stuff like that, they're like the most sought after, surprisingly enough. The statistics say that, you know, Asian women are yearned after the most by every culture.
I'm not surprised, just based off like how they are.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like, again, that's based off something else.
Yeah, they're based on desirability.
But also in terms of keeping themselves in shape. Like, I mean, even without the extra stuff that they do for their partner.
Yeah, just known to
just them keeping in shape.
Usually not to have submissive attitude.
Yeah, they have exactly. So they have the stereotype of being submissive and also very catering and serviceable. Exactly. So
maybe that is the reason why she got picked first. Then it was like a Hispanic girl, white girl. Then it was
2 white girls.
I guess. Oh yeah, I thought she was Hispanic, but I guess two.
No, one's a Hispanic girl, but the white girl, the big one, she's white.
Yeah.
The blonde hair is white. The other one's probably Hispanic.
Yeah. So then they put, like I said, I think the Hispanic one second.
Yeah.
They put the blonde girl third. And then they had obviously a question of, oh, do you think the whether between the black woman and the overweight white woman, and then obviously the black man had to step in. He finally had enough and said, hey,
she is definitely not going to
let's be real, guys. Let's switch this up. So the point of the matter is, for the men, is a little bit more straightforward. Obviously, they didn't care about personality and stuff of that nature. Although one guy mentioned it, it's funny that he was talking
the Hispanic guy. Oh no,
it's funny that he was saying that, because eventually he goes like, well, men are just more blunt. We just go ahead and do it. But then he's mentioning that, oh, this girl looks like I can have a deep conversation with. So he was a little bit confused.
But they were worried about getting ripped a new one. If you never
so when they switch the black woman with the overweight woman, they're like, oh, we're gonna get ripped a new one. So I think even men now have.
It's just a criticism of women that has caused them to.
Well, it's this whole cancel culture. Cancel culture, and obviously they know this is being recorded. They know this is going online. So they're like, we're gonna get ripped a new one online.
On the comments online,
they're gonna say you're short, you're bald, you're this,
and they're gonna find you too. They're gonna find your Instagram page. They're gonna continue to hunt you down, and they're gonna keep ripping.
You gotta take it easy on the criticism. It could come back to bite you, especially these are like viral. These are I think this video has like over 1 million views, maybe 2 million views. So this is something that's watched by a lot of people. But again, the men were straightforward with it, and then they did put the woman. We didn't see earlier, but when the ranking was done with the women ranking themselves, they put the woman that was obviously the most overweight out of the group. They put her as first. We didn't get to finish that part of the video
we didn't
wanted
do that.
to see, but the woman that was in last was the Asian woman.
Well, the point is,
it was basically a complete swap out.
Well, the point is, we just didn't want to go.
Yeah, okay, the rankings right there.
Oh, the rankings there. Okay, perfect. The rankings.
Or was
right
that
there.
the original? Oh, so she was ranked.
Yeah,
So she was ranked second.
Blonde girls ranked first. Black girls ranked third. Okay.
Yeah, they got it wrong, right? They got it completely wrong. You know, your second rank is your last rank, and for the men, it's completely off.
No, they're just off on the whole ranking
The whole
system.
ranking system. The last one is the first, the first one is in the middle of the pack. So point of the matter is that if leave it up to women to steer you wrong, they're going to tell you somebody looks attractive, because they might not be looking at the actual attractiveness of a woman. They're looking at the personality, the heart, the kindness amongst the women. So if someone's setting you up and it's a woman and she says she has a friend for you, you do have to keep these things in mind. Let this video be a reminder of a woman's ranking system compared to a man's ranking system. As you can see, the men have ranked the women completely differently than the women have ranked the men. And again, everyone has their own types. I'm just saying that this ranking is not it's not indicative of what necessarily is attractive. The men determined what was attractive, because typically that's what happens. Women can't determine if another woman's truly attractive, because they don't have that ability, in my opinion, unless they swing those ways. But if not, again, they choose it where they put the last as the second, and they put the the best as the last. I mean, if that's not
again, they did that again because of the criticism. I'm telling you, if nobody critiques your actual opinion on things, people will tell you what they actually believe, like the truth. And because people have a muzzle on what the truth is considered, it stops people from actually doing what we want to do or what we want to say. It really stops us. So even for men these days, I mean, there's certain things that's going on in society where men have an opinion on the matter, but they don't want to say anything. But then women will come back and say, why don't you be a man? Just speak up for yourself. But it's like, you won't allow us to speak up for ourselves. So
can't be too honest.
So even though they say that, they don't really want to hear the honest truth of what you're thinking. So again, never judge a person off what they say. Judge them based off their actions and past actions, because it tells you the full story and what you're what you're allowed to say and what you're not supposed to say.
I think it's just about being honest. Like in some cases, it's just about being honest. But again, if you try and tell someone to be honest, they're gonna have their own perspective of what they believe is beautiful, what they believe is this and that. So in our society, as it stands, like especially in our generation, I don't think there's any standards.
Yeah.
There's just you are you. The energy, people are going to judge things off energy. I think people are trying to get away from the superficiality of things, but that doesn't mean you can't be superficial when asked about a superficial question, right? Just like if a woman, if you ask them, what height do you prefer? Well, of course, they're going to say a 6-foot person for most part. Like they're going to say, if you ask them, what do you prefer? 6 feet, 5'7", or 5'4", chances are they're going to say the highest height on that chart.
Yes.
Like, you get what I mean? It's not to say that they're being a dick or they wouldn't go for somebody lesser than that, but it's just in comparison, right? In this situation, it's in comparison. No one's saying that any of the women out there aren't, beautiful to maybe some men. But the point of the matter is, if we're basing it on attraction, we have to give you a realistic viewpoint of what that means, or it doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, are you going to say a personality is attractive? Well, then you're judging the personality. You're not judging the actual person.
Yeah.
Right? Just like if someone can sing well, it doesn't make them look good.
Yes.
Like they just can sing well. Those two things don't correlate. So but that's my thoughts on the whole situation. I just believe that, when it comes to attraction, you have to go after what you like. You don't fool yourself with just simply personality. I think personality is a huge part when it comes to attraction, but you do have to be attracted to a person.
100%.
If you're not attracted to them, the personality does not make up for it. And I've heard this argument that the personality can make you look more attractive or make you over time become more attractive. Do you believe that?
I still believe attractiveness to a certain extent is necessary for you to stay in the game.
But do you believe that
I think
personality can make you look more attractive?
No. If you don't look attractive, you don't look attractive. Like,
there you go. I've heard this saying
1 + 1 = 2. Like, that doesn't change.
I've heard women argue this.
That's what I said. Women will always try to force you and tell you that 1 + 1 = 3, it = 4. But it's like, I'm telling you, for a man's point of view, it will always be 2. Like, you could tell them whatever you want to tell them. It will always be 2. Trust me on that.
I mean, I guess, that's what it is. 1 + 1 =
2.
2, motherfuckers.
They'll try and hoodwink me. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I think that's what we got on the topic for today, man. You already know it's the Far From Normal podcast,
and we are out. Deuces.
Peace.